Spider-Man may be a fictional character, but he's also one of New York's most famous heroes. Despite his comic book origins, there is a powerful and realistic moral development underlying his transformation from zero to superhero. Like some of the great myths and legends of the classical world, the story of Spider-Man's origin has universal resonance and provides a fruitful focus for the examination of philosophy and, in this case, ethics. This is Asia from Entertainment Stew, and welcome to another Overthinking.
All clear, ma'am.
I knew Jameson was wrong about you. You're a little weird, but you got a good heart.
Have you got somewhere to go?
I can take care of myself.
I'm sure you can, but just in case, there's a place called the Feast Center.
Seen it. I don't want charity.
They got the best wheat cakes in the city, hands down.
Mom used to make those. Haven't had any in a long time. I'll check it out. Thanks, Spider Guy.
It's Spider-Man. Oh well.
So, if we're going to discuss the ethical framework behind Spider-Man, we must first set up the historical structures of the character we'll be utilizing. Since Spider-Man has been around since the 1960s, there are literally dozens of different iterations of him and his story. Yet, for the purpose of this video, we'll be using Insomniac Games' Marvel's Spider-Man, which released in 2018. To give a brief explanation on the character of Spider-Man, here is Entertainment Stew's comic book correspondent.
In today's Overthinking, we'll be talking about Spider-Man, a character I'm sure many of you are familiar with. But for those who aren't, we'll give you a brief overview of who the character is. And before we start, a lot of people have used the name Spider-Man in the comics. So to clarify, in today's video, we'll be talking about the original Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Now, Peter's story begins the way many superheroes do, with tragedy. When he was very young, Peter's parents were killed in a plane crash, and he was sent to live with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Growing up, Peter was a nerdy high school student, and he was often ridiculed and bullied by his classmates. One day, Peter was bitten by a radioactive spider, and he was given superpowers, including super strength, agility, the ability to walk on walls, and a spider sense that alerted him whenever he was in danger. He also constructed mechanical web shooters that allowed him to swing across the city. However, shortly after gaining these powers, tragedy struck again, and Peter's Uncle Ben was killed. Peter tracked down his uncle's killer, although he ultimately decided not to kill him. Peter's decision not to kill his enemies wasn't tested again until he came up against the Green Goblin. By this point, Peter had already started dating high school classmate Gwen Stacy, and their relationship seemed very promising. However, when the Green Goblin attacked Gwen, Peter, in trying to save her, accidentally killed her. After Gwen's death, Peter decided that he was going to kill the Green Goblin, and they had an extremely intense fight, but at the end of it, Peter decided against killing him. However, the Green Goblin tried getting Peter with his remote control glider, and Peter, after dodging out of the way, the Goblin accidentally killed himself. Upon seeing the dead Goblin, Spider-Man walked up to him and, surprisingly, felt empty. Upon seeing his dead enemy, he actually felt more alone, and from then on decided that he would never again try to kill someone. Even though after Gwen's death Peter felt he'd never love again, he later started dating Mary Jane Watson, another old classmate of his, and the two eventually got married. While Peter's held a number of different jobs throughout the comics, he's most often depicted as a photographer for the Daily Bugle, helmed by editor J. Jonah Jameson, who notoriously hates Spider-Man, and often uses the Bugle as a platform to call him a citywide menace. Now, this has been a very brief summary of Spider-Man. The character's been through a lot throughout his years in the comics. Between accidentally trading his marriage with Mary Jane to the devil, and swapping bodies with Dr. Octopus, he's had some crazy times. But for the sake of this video, you'll only need to know what we've gone over here. But I absolutely recommend reading some Spider-Man comics, or watching some of the great TV shows and movies he's been a part of.
With this in mind, we can now look at the ethical framework that we'll be using to critically look at Spider-Man. This ethical framework is altruism. Altruism was coined by French philosopher Auguste Comte. Born in 1798, Comte grew up in the wake of the French Revolution. With everything that surrounded him, he rejected religion and royalty, focusing instead on the study of society, which he named sociology. He broke the subject into two categories: the forces holding society together, social statics, and those driving social change, social dynamics. While growing up in such a tumultuous time period, Comte's confidence in established beliefs and institutions were shattered. Due to this, he dedicated most of his life to creating a philosophy for a brighter future amidst all of the chaos and uncertainty. This eventually led to him championing the idea of altruism. Altruism is a simple ethical framework to explain. Altruism is the ethical framework of living for others rather than for oneself. It means that individuals have a moral obligation to help, serve, or benefit others if necessary at the sacrifice of self-interest. More precisely, an action is morally right if the consequences of that action are more favorable than unfavorable to everyone except the agent. Altruism is often seen as a form of consequentialism, as it indicates an action is ethically right if it brings good consequences to others. It may be seen as similar to utilitarianism, though an essential difference is that utilitarianism is all about acts that maximize good consequences for all of society, while altruism is all about maximizing good consequences for everyone except the actor. This is the opposite of egoism, which holds that individuals should do what is best for themselves. That is not only their right, but their duty to look after their own. From the very beginning of the game, we are introduced to main protagonist Peter Parker, and we quickly become aware of the fact that Peter's time spent helping others as the mass superhero Spider-Man is having a detrimental effect on his personal life, happiness, and overall well-being. He can barely keep up with his actual job, and he's unable to work on his personal relationships, to the point that him and Mary Jane Watson haven't dated in years.
Since when did Mix become Italian?
No idea, but I'm still glad he makes these fries.
Totally. Best in the city.
So, how's the grind at the Bugle?
Well, I just got an all-caps text from Robbie about my so-called antics tonight. So it looks like I'll be meeting with the legal team. Again.
As soon as he reads the article you're gonna write, guaranteed promotion.
So, creepy mask guys. What's your take?
Just another night in the city. What's your take?
I feel like there's a bigger story there. Let's not make this all about business. How's it going with you? Did you get that promotion?
No, but we're on the cusp of something really big.
You know Oscorp would hire you in a heartbeat, right? One phone call to Harry.
Sure, but Dr. Octavius's work will help millions. I'm right where I want to be, right where I should be.
Almost sounds like it's more important than your other job. I've never heard you talk like that before.
A lot can change in 6 months.
Why did you ask me here, Pete?
You know, just dinner between friends.
Friends. Is that what we are?
Maybe we could be, if that's what you wanted.
There's a lot of baggage here.
Yeah, sure, but is that so bad? I mean, baggage can carry good things too, like money and keys, and raspberry lip balm.
Do you remember why we broke up?
This is a trick question, isn't it?
Saved by the siren.
Talk to you later.
Go.
Love seeing you two together again. You always were my favorites.
Throughout the game, we see Peter adopting an ethically altruistic lifestyle as he constantly prioritizes the well-being of others over his own happiness, whether it be saving the lives of a woman getting mugged or thwarting armed criminals in a high-speed chase.
Great, now the 3 decides to run on time.
Perhaps the most important example of Peter's altruism is his instinct to save his villains. Peter's villains have done terrible and horrific things, yet he constantly puts their well-being over his own. Peter treats every citizen of New York on a higher scale than he even treats himself. Because of this, Peter is an altruist in the purest form.
Turn back, Spider-Man! This is between me and Osborn!
I know about the accident. I know what happened to your parents.
The accident? You sound as clinical as Osborn. My parents died because of me. Because of what Osborn did to me.
You're more than your past. Don't let it control you.
I tried so hard to make my parents proud, to honor their legacy. But to truly honor them, Osborn must see justice.
I won't let you do this, Martin.
Osborn needs to pay.
I know. But this is the wrong way, Martin.
But that's just one way to think about it. Have another? Comment in the comment section below. We live and thrive off of your feedback. Like and subscribe if you want more videos like this. This has been Asia from Entertainment Stew, and thanks for watching.